Welcome to English Refine. We are so glad you are here with us today.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining our deep dive today.
So, today we are talking about a really powerful topic. We are calling it Wake Up and Take Control.
Right. It is all about how to stop being lazy and start living the life you actually want.
Exactly. What if I told you that you are not actually a lazy person? What if your brain is just trying to protect you by doing absolutely nothing?
That is a completely different way to look at it, isn't it? We usually just feel bad about ourselves when we do not finish our goals.
We really do. We just think, oh, I have no willpower. But today, you are sitting right here with us, and we are going to look at the real reasons why we do this.
We have some amazing sources for you today. We're looking at some simple psychology papers, some science about habits, and some very motivating ideas from experts like Anthony Robbins and Eric Thomas.
Yeah, the mission for this deep dive is very clear. We want to understand why we stop ourselves from succeeding.
And we want to give you a very simple, practical plan. We want to help you shift from just being a passenger in your life to being the driver.
So let us start with the problem first. Why do we just float through life? Why do we feel so passive?
Well, there was a great idea in our sources called the passive mindset.
Oh, right. Like when you sit on the sofa all weekend and you just say, I'm so bored.
Exactly. It is not just a bad mood. It is a very deep habit.
Hmm.
And honestly, we learned this habit when we were very young.
Wait, really? We learned to be bored.
We learned to be passive. Think about school. When you were a kid, you sit at a desk. You wait for a bell to ring.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you just wait for the teacher to tell you what to do.
Right. You were trained to wait for orders. You never just do things on your own.
And then we grow up and we get a job, but nothing changes.
Exactly. Now you just wait for your boss to tell you what to do. You look at your parents or your partner, and you just wait for permission to live.
That makes so much sense. We're just waiting around, but the psychology sources call this something specific, right?
Yes. They call it learned helplessness. And this is not just about having low confidence.
It is much deeper than that, isn't it?
It is actually a physical alarm system in your brain.
Okay, I love the example they use for this. Can you share the story about the toddler?
Sure, imagine a happy little baby, a toddler, playing in the kitchen. They're opening doors, playing with pots and pans, just exploring.
And they feel totally safe because their parent is sitting right there. They have a safety net.
Exactly. But now take that same little kid and put them alone in a dark, scary forest at night.
Oh, that is terrifying. Just the thought of it is scary.
Right, the kid feels totally alone. They think, if I move, something bad will happen.
And no one is there to help them.
Yes. And with learned helplessness, that scary feeling gets stuck in your brain. So even as an adult, when you get a new chance, like a new job, your brain does not see a good thing.
Your brain just sees the dark forest. It thinks, I am going to get hurt and nobody will save me.
Exactly. The sources call this the tightrope feeling.
A tightrope.
Yeah.
Like walking on a thin rope high up in the air.
Yes. Imagine walking on a rope 100 feet in the air with no net to catch you.
Your heart would be beating so fast, you'd be so scared.
And every small choice feels like a huge danger. For someone with this mindset, just deciding what to eat or speaking up at work feels like walking on that scary rope.
So if you feel like you are on a tightrope, you just freeze. You do not move at all.
Right. You think too much, you worry about every bad thing that could happen, and then you just do nothing.
You wait for someone else to make the choice. You look at your boss or your friend to decide for you. So when we call ourselves lazy, it might actually just be our body trying to keep us safe from that scary tightrope feeling.
That is a very good way to say it. Your body is just trying to protect you.
It is like sitting in a car. You are too scared to drive because you might crash, so you let someone else drive.
Yes, but the crazy part is you let them drive, even if the car is going to crash anyway.
Wow. You'd rather crash as a passenger than try to drive the car yourself. That is so sad, but it is so true.
And this brings us to a very important idea called the locus of control.
Locus just means place, right? So where is the place of control in your life?
Exactly. It is either inside you or outside of you.
So what does it mean to have it inside you, an internal locus?
It means you believe you control your life. You believe your hard work changes things. If you study, you get a good grade.
And the external locus is the opposite. You think everything is just luck.
Right. You blame the weather, the economy, or your boss. You think, the world is against me, so why should I even try?
And the sources show this is actually really bad for our health, do they not?
Yes, very bad. People who blame the outside world have much more stress and sadness.
There was that big study from the 1970s in Great Britain. Can you explain that one?
Sure, researchers looked at thousands of babies born in the same week. They watched them grow up.
And when the kids were 10 years old, they asked them about their locus of control, right?
Yes. They asked, do you get good grades because you study or just because the teacher likes you?
Basically testing if the control was inside or outside. So what happened when those kids grew up?
Well, when they checked on them at age 30, the results were amazing. The kids who believed they controlled their own lives were much healthier.
Wait, really? Just a belief changed their physical health?
Yes, they had stronger hearts, less weight problems, and they were much happier.
Because if you believe your actions matter, you will actually eat healthy food and go for a walk.
Exactly. If you think everything is just luck, you will never exercise. You will just give up.
Okay, so we know what stops us now. The passive mindset and blaming the outside world, that is like a parking brake on our life.
Yes, a heavy parking brake.
But how do we move forward? What is the engine? If nobody is yelling at us to work, why do we do it?
That brings us to something called self-determination theory.
Oh, this part is so interesting. It says humans are not naturally lazy at all.
Right. It says we actually want to grow. We want to learn new things and connect with people.
Just like a plant needs water and sunlight, our minds need three basic things to grow.
The first need is autonomy.
Now, a lot of people think autonomy just means being totally alone and doing whatever you want.
But it is actually much smarter than that. Autonomy means you feel like you are the author of your own actions.
So even if you are following rules at work, you do it because you agree with it, not because someone is forcing you.
Exactly. You do not feel forced.
Hmm.
The second need is competence.
Competence. That means wanting to be good at things, right?
Yes. We want to feel capable.
Yeah.
We want to see that we are getting better at our hobbies or our jobs.
We want to know that our skills actually work. And the third need is relatedness.
Relatedness is our need for other people. We need strong friendships and family.
We need to care for people, and we want them to care for us.
So when you do something that gives you all three, you choose it, you get better at it, and it connects you to people, you get incredible motivation.
But here's a huge twist from the premises. We always think that getting a reward, like money, makes us want to do things more.
Yes, that is what most companies and parents think. But the research shows something totally different.
It shows that giving someone a reward for something they already love can actually ruin it.
Exactly. It destroys their natural motivation.
How does getting a reward ruin the fun? That sounds crazy.
Well, imagine you love to paint pictures. You paint every weekend just because it is fun. You feel free and happy.
Okay, I love painting. It makes me feel good.
But then someone says, I will pay you $500 for every painting you finish by Friday.
Oh. Suddenly it feels like a job.
Right. You are not painting for fun anymore. You are painting for a boss to meet a deadline.
So the reward feels like a trick. It feels like someone is controlling me.
Yes. Your brain changes the activity from play to work. Your control moves to the outside.
So if I tell myself if I exercise all week, I can eat a huge donut on Sunday, am I actually hurting my motivation?
You might be. It is like paying yourself to do your favorite hobby. It turns into an obligation.
So we need to be careful with rewards. We want to be driven from the inside, not the outside.
Exactly. The sources call this having an autonomous orientation. You act based on your own values.
You want to grow and help your community. But some people have a controlled orientation.
Yes. Those people only act because they feel guilty, or they just want money and fame. They want people to clap for them.
And the third group is the impersonal orientation. They just feel helpless, like nothing matters.
Right. And our goal today is to help you build that first one, the autonomous one.
But how do we actually do that? If we have been waiting for orders our whole lives, how do we fix our brains?
We can use some very powerful tools. Let us talk about Anthony Robbins and his idea of pain and pleasure.
Oh, this part is so simple but so strong. Robbins says we just run away from pain and run toward pleasure.
Yes. But the problem is, our wires are mixed up in our heads.
Right. We think going for a run is painful, and we think looking at our phones for 3 hours is pleasure.
Exactly. So we have to consciously change that. We have to teach our brains that bad habits will cause us terrible pain in the future.
And we have to imagine the amazing pleasure we will get from our good habits. We can hack our own brains.
And this is not just a motivational trick. It is actually based on real science called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT.
CBT is amazing, but to understand it, we need to talk about what our brain does when we are stressed.
Yes. When you are very stressed, your brain goes into survival mode.
The smart part of your brain, the part that makes long-term plans, just shuts down, right?
Completely. The fear center takes over. Your brain thinks you are in physical danger.
So your brain is not thinking about your goals for next year. It just wants to feel safe right now.
That is why when you are stressed about a big project at work, you suddenly eat a whole bag of cookies.
Or you watch silly videos for hours. Your brain just wants quick comfort.
Right. So CBT gives us tools to calm that fear center down and wake up the smart part of our brain.
One of the best tools they mention is called cognitive diffusion.
Yes. Usually we mix our identity with our thoughts.
Hmm.
If you think, I am a failure, you believe it is a true fact.
You think it is 100% real. But cognitive diffusion teaches you to just look at your thoughts from the outside.
Exactly. They are not facts. They are just electrical signals in your head. You do not have to believe them.
I really love the analogy for this. It is like watching clouds in the sky.
The clouds are your thoughts, and you are the sky.
Right. So if a dark storm cloud rolls in like a thought that says, you are going to mess up this interview, you do not fight the cloud.
You do not try to punch the weather. You just notice it.
You say, oh, there is an anxious thought, and you just watch it float away.
That detachment gives you your power back.
Another great tool is stimulus control. This one is very practical for daily life.
Yes. It means changing your environment. Because willpower gets very tired.
Right. If you use willpower all day, you will lose by the evening.
So if you want to stop eating junk food, do not keep cookies in your kitchen.
Because if the cookies are in the kitchen, you have to fight the urge all day long.
Exactly. Just do not buy them at the store. That way, you only use your willpower for 5 minutes while shopping.
You change your environment to make the good choice the easiest choice.
The next tool is called shaping. This is for when a goal feels way too big and scary.
Like that tightrope feeling again.
Right. Shaping means breaking the huge goal into very, very tiny steps. Steps so small they are easy.
Like learning simple math before you learn difficult algebra.
Or if you want to run a marathon, you do not start by running 10 miles.
You just put on your shoes and stand outside. Then you go back inside. You just build the small habit first.
Yes, you make yourself feel capable slowly. But as we talk about changing, we have to mention something painful.
Changing your life can actually feel a bit like grief, like when you lose something important.
Because you are losing something. You are losing your old self.
Even if your old habits were bad, they felt safe. They felt comfortable.
When you take control, you cannot blame anyone else anymore. It can feel a little lonely at first.
You have to be ready for that uncomfortable feeling, or you will run back to your old bad habits.
But once you start getting better and feeling confident, you have to watch out for a new trap.
Oh, the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Yes. This is when people with a little bit of skill think they know everything. They get too confident.
Blind confidence is very dangerous. You need confidence to start, but you must stay humble.
You have to listen to feedback. If someone tells you that you are making a mistake, do not get angry.
Right. Do not let your ego stop you from learning. Always be honest with yourself.
Now let us talk about how to actually plan our goals. Daniel Walter talks about this in his book.
The power of discipline. He talks about why New Year's resolutions always fail.
Almost everyone fails their resolutions. Why? Because we only focus on the final result.
We want to lose 20 pounds or write a book, but we ignore the daily steps.
And that creates the yo-yo effect.
Like when someone diets super hard for a wedding, they lose the weight.
But then the wedding is over. The goal is finished. So they stop trying and they gain all the weight back.
To stop this, we have to understand the 3 layers of change.
The outside layer is the outcome. That is the result, like losing weight.
The middle layer is the process. Those are your daily habits, like going to the gym for 30 minutes.
But the deepest layer is your identity.
Your identity. That is what you believe about yourself when you look in the mirror.
Our sources give a perfect example of this with smoking.
Imagine 2 people trying to quit smoking. Someone offers them a cigarette.
The first person says, "No, thank you. I am trying to quit smoking."
A second person says, no, thank you, I do not smoke.
Those sound similar, but they are totally different.
The first person still thinks they are a smoker. They are just a smoker who is saying no right now.
Their identity has not changed. Eventually, they will probably smoke again.
But the second person changed their identity. They just are not a smoker anymore.
So your new habit has to become who you are.
The words we use are so important. Deepak Chopra says we should completely stop using the word try.
Yes. Stop saying, "I will try to eat healthy," or "I will try to wake up early."
He says we need to use strong words. I will do this. I am doing this.
When you say try, you give yourself a secret way to fail.
Yeah.
You could just say, "Well, I only tried, so it is okay that I quit."
But wait, let me ask a question for the listener. What if I'm really scared?
Scared of failing.
Yeah. If I have never run a mile, shouldn't I just say, I am trying to jog? Is it safe to just try?
It feels safer, but it is actually a trap.
Yeah.
It is a trap of perfectionism.
So what should we do instead?
We use the 70% rule.
The 70% rule, how does that work?
It means you must take action when you are 70% sure you can do it.
Why not wait until I'm 100% sure? I want to be perfectly ready.
Because perfect does not exist. 100% certainty is a myth.
If you wait until you are perfectly ready, you will wait forever.
Exactly. When you are 70% ready, you just jump. You do not try, you commit.
And you learn the last 30% while you are doing it. You learn from your mistakes.
That is so practical. And we also have to talk about Parkinson's law.
Oh, Parkinson's law is so true. It says that work expands to fill the time you give it.
Right. If you give yourself a month to write a simple report, it will take a whole month.
Your brain will make it seem so difficult. You will worry about the font. You will read too much.
But if your boss says, I need this report tomorrow morning.
You will magically finish it in one day.
Yes. We make things complicated so we can procrastinate. We want things to be perfect.
So we have to give ourselves very tight deadlines. That forces us to just do the work.
Okay, so we understand the mindset now. Let us get into the daily routines.
The daily armor. How do we start the day right?
It starts the second you wake up. Within the first hour, you need 10 minutes of natural sunlight in your eyes.
Why do I need to go outside? Can I just turn on a lamp?
No, a lamp is not strong enough. Natural sunlight hits your eyes and sends a quick signal to your brain.
And that signal stops the sleep hormones, right?
Exactly. It wakes you up and resets your body clock for the whole day.
Okay, step 2. Drink a big glass of water right away.
You have been asleep for 8 hours without water. Your brain is thirsty.
Step 3 is to do a quick 5-minute stretch. Just move your body.
That warms up your body and tells your brain it is time to be alert.
Light, water, movement, it is so simple. But what about the rest of the day?
Working all day without stopping is actually very bad for you.
Wait, really? I thought working for 4 hours straight was good discipline.
No, our brains cannot focus for that long. We work in 90-minute blocks.
90 minutes. So I put my phone in another room and I just work hard for 90 minutes.
Yes, and then you must take a 15 or 20-minute break, an active break.
So no looking at my phone during the break.
Right. Go outside, walk around, let your eyes look far away, let your brain cool down.
And we have to mention sleep. We always talk about sleep.
Because it is the most important thing. If you do not get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you have no willpower.
Your brain literally cleans itself while you sleep, right? It washes away the bad stuff.
Exactly. If you do not sleep, your brain is full of junk. You will be emotional and lazy.
Okay, but what happens when things get really hard? Like unimaginably hard?
That is when we use the 40% rule from the Navy SEALs.
The Navy SEALs are super soldiers. They go through the hardest training in the world.
And they learn that the mind wants to quit long before the body does.
So the rule says when your brain is screaming that you cannot take one more step,
When you feel completely exhausted.
you are actually only at 40% of your true capacity.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Your brain acts like a governor on an engine. It tries to slow you down to save energy.
So when I am running and my lungs burn and I want to stop, that is just a warning alarm.
Yes, it is an illusion. You still have 60% of your energy left.
If you push past that panic, you find so much more strength.
And this means we need to practice being uncomfortable.
We need to voluntarily do things that scare us, like the guy who did rejection therapy.
Ji Jiang, he was so scared of people saying no to him, it ruined his life.
So he spent 100 days asking strangers for crazy favors just to get rejected.
He asked to borrow $100 from a stranger. He asked to make an announcement in a store.
Why would anyone do that? It sounds so embarrassing.
He did it to train his nervous system. He learned that hearing the word no does not kill you.
He expanded his comfort zone. He practiced when it was safe, so he would be brave when it mattered.
But we cannot push ourselves 100% all the time. We need balance.
Right. And the sources mention Zen Buddhism to help with this, a practice called shikantaza.
It just means just sitting.
Just sitting. How does that help us be disciplined?
We waste so much energy fighting our own negative emotions and complaining.
In shikantaza, you sit and you just accept everything. You do not judge your thoughts.
You do not fight your anxiety. You just watch the thoughts pass like clouds.
It stops the mental friction. It saves your energy.
Yes. Even Shaolin monks who train so hard are very joyful. They find happiness in their purpose.
When you love what you do, the hard work does not drain you. It fills you up.
And that leads us to the final section, radical accountability.
This is the biggest shift in mindset. We have to learn to actually love the hard work.
You can train your brain to enjoy it using Pavlovian conditioning.
Like the scientist Pavlov, who trained dogs to drool when they heard a bell.
Yes, you can do that to yourself. You pair a really hard task with a really great reward.
So if I have to study for 3 hours, which I hate doing, how do I fix that?
You only let yourself drink your absolute favorite coffee while you study.
Or I only listen to my favorite music when I am working on a tough project.
Over time, your brain links the joy of the coffee to the hard work. You start to enjoy the grind.
You biohack your own brain. I love that.
Let us bring all of this together with a powerful story from the sources.
Yes, the story of Eric Thomas. He is a famous motivational speaker now.
But he grew up very poor in Detroit. He is homeless. He ate from trash cans.
But he's completely stuck in that external locus of control. He was so angry and he blamed everyone else.
And honestly, he had good reasons to be angry.
He blamed his dad for leaving. He blamed his mom. He blamed the schools.
He was a passenger in a crashing car, and he was just screaming at the drivers.
But then, at his lowest point, he had a huge realization.
He realized that blaming other people was not going to fix his life. He was still sleeping in the street.
He realized he had to hold himself accountable. He said, "The day you hold yourself accountable is the day everything changes."
He stopped waiting to be rescued. He took the wheel.
He got his education, and he changed his whole world.
There is a great quote from Jim Rohn about this. You cannot change the seasons or the wind, but you can change yourself.
You cannot change the wind, but you adjust your own sails.
Radical accountability means taking 100% ownership.
You might not be responsible for bad things that happen to you, but you are responsible for healing from them.
And you must avoid shortcuts. Do not take a weight loss pill instead of exercising.
A shortcut robs you of the pride of doing the hard work. True confidence comes from knowing you can do hard things. So, let us look back at our journey today.
We started in the dark forest, feeling paralyzed by learned helplessness.
We learned to change our control from outside to inside.
We talked about building our own autonomy and competence.
We learned to calm our stressed brains by watching our thoughts like clouds.
We changed our identity, saying, I do not smoke, instead of I'm trying to quit.
We dropped the word try, and we used the 70% rule to just start.
We built a morning routine with sunlight and water, and we used 90-minute work blocks.
And finally, we used the 40% rule and radical accountability to take the wheel.
Discipline is not a punishment. It is the key to absolute freedom.
As we finish, we want to leave you with one final thought to think about.
We talked about the 40% rule for physical work, but what about your emotional strength?
Oh, that is a powerful idea.
The next time you feel completely broken by sadness or stress,
When your brain says you cannot handle one more second of pain.
stop and ask yourself, am I actually at my breaking point, or am I just at 40%?
Wow, am I just at 40%? You are so much stronger than your mind tells you.
You have deep reserves of strength you haven't even met yet.
What a beautiful way to end. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you for your time. It was a privilege. Goodbye, everyone.
Stay disciplined and keep driving your own car. See you next time.